Jared Polin, Fro Knows Photo.com here now with a RAW file edit of the week. And this week it's a RAW file from me. That's right, I am putting up one of my RAW files from an engagement shoot from 2 years ago for everybody to edit, including Greg and myself. And with that being said, when you are sending in your RAW files to froknowsphoto@gmail.com, you're basically giving us, no, not basically, you are giving us permission to edit that file as well as put it up on the site to allow other people to download the RAW file and edit it. Now, they're not supposed to do anything else with the RAW file, but this is mostly educational. We've said it in the past that if you upload a photo to us, that it can be used for this educational purpose, and that's why I'm throwing up one of mine, showing you, look, I'm doing it too. So, you'll be able to download this RAW file after this video and show us what you would do with it. So, what would I do with this? Well, let me explain it first. I had an engagement session. It was November, so it was cold out. It was November 1st of 2009. I was in New Hope, PA, doing a photo shoot with this couple that I ended up shooting their wedding not too long after this. And we were wrapping up. And my whole idea of shooting in New Hope was I wanted the train to come in, and I wanted them to run away from the train. And the train wasn't coming in. And then right near the end, I heard the train coming in, and I was like, all right, guys, run from the train. Go that way and run from the train. And I thought it would make for a cool picture. They had fun. They're laughing. They're enjoying it. Plus, you can see the train barreling in the background, going like 3 miles an hour. But, Anyway, so what was it shot at? 1/3200th of a second at f4, ISO 1250, 155 millimeters on the 70 to 200, 2.8 with the D3 at the time. Yeah, the ISO was pretty high there. I didn't need 1/3200th of a second. I could have been at 800 ISO for all that we know, and whatever. It doesn't matter, but that's just how I shot it. Not a lot of color in the scene. It was an overcast, cold November morning when this was shot. So how will I edit this? Well, let me see something. At first, I was thinking I would do black and white. And let's add some warmth into this. I mean, that could work, and it looks cool, but blah. I'm resetting that. I want to go black and white. I want to make it go boomerific times 2. So, again, I'll go clipping all my... I'll clip all my highlights, because that's what I do. I go boom with the contrast. I should make a song. Go boom with the contrast. Boom with the contrast. Boom. Alright, anyway. Back to editing. Change my exposure slightly, pump up some clarity, move up on the blacks, nay, go back on the blacks, yay. Don't forget your tint. You can always change this, tint, temperature. Color temperature can affect your black and white. So here we go. It's still a little flat and gray. How can I make this less flat and gray? Maybe I should try Greg's fill light option here. No, it's too thick. I know, that's what she said. Anyway, so here we go. Blacks are about a 6. I'm going to bump my exposure slightly, a little more, just to bring it in. And there we go. So let's zoom in here. Look at these two. Nice and black and white. The train's in the background. The bokeh is really nice. It's blown out. The reason I was at f4 is because if they're running on 2 different paths, one's further. If one is ahead of the other, or one is behind the other, then one's going to be in focus and one's going to be out of focus. So in this case, I wanted to keep them both in. That's why it's at f4. So there it is. That is pretty much my edit. I don't want to do anything else with it. I don't want to go color. I boom-terrific my contrast. I black leveled up, +1. No fill light. Change a little bit of this. Change a little bit of that. Maybe I'll change this a little more. Change my exposure slightly. A little more. And there we go. And that's it. That's what I'm doing. Greg, let's see how you edit my photo. See ya in a minute.
You know what? I am going to start in a really weird area that you haven't seen me do yet. At least I don't think so. Camera calibration. I want to see what this looks like. And start off, I think I want to start off with a landscape. And it's definitely adding a lot of contrast. Let me go back and look at my histogram. Oops. Oops, oops, oops. Let's start over. Starting over. 3, 2, 1. Greg Casillo, my turn to edit this picture. Let's see. I'm starting off here in the camera calibration panel. And I'm going to go down here to landscape. But you know what? I think it's adding a little bit too many darks. It really shifted this histogram way over and didn't leave me a lot of light. So let's see if we need to compensate or if we need to cut our losses and start over. Let's bring some of our lights in, maybe stretch it out that way. It's actually not too bad. Maybe we just bring this up a little bit. And I'm digging the contrast. Let's see what my highlights do here. I like it. I like it. Let's see. Let's try a touch of saturation. As you guys all know, I'm not a big fan of oversaturating, of having things way too saturated, and it needs to be just right. It just has that spot. You know what I mean? It just needs that little teeny bit. Let's zoom in here. Take a look at our blacks. Yeah, that's just a little bit too much, I think. So let's maybe just bring our blacks down by 1. No. Didn't like that. I think I'm going to ditch this, go back to standard, and do it on my own. Let's reset all this. Okay. So, put my own blacks in. That's good. Touch of brightness, I think, just to open up a little bit. There we go. Contrast. Get the right amount here. Let's go too much and then come back. That's better. Okay. I think saturation is good. I wonder how this is going to look in black and white. I'm losing them in black and white. What do you think? I think they're lost. I think they need to be separated. Yeah, I think we'll keep the saturation or the separation. I also like this red right here. So I think it needs to be there. All right, white balance. Let's start off with a shade. Whoa, way too much. Start off with a cloudy, even too much. All right. Daylight. Wow, that's still horrible. That shot is definitely blue, but wow. Let's see. A little more green. Just, no. No, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try and get myself close. I like that. That got me a little bit closer to a better color, and then I can just adjust it a little bit. And that was just a known black area, where I even could have gone to a known white area in here, up in the smoke or steam or whatever it is. I guess that's a steam engine, so I guess that would be steam coming out of that thing. Let's see. Do we want to do anything else? I don't think we need anything in our tone curve. I think our range of colors is good. Maybe we could use a little bit more red. See, I'd love to see more red down in here, but I don't think I really want to screw with it and mess it up. So let's zoom in, check out our detail. Sharpen just a little bit. Don't want to overdo it. Don't want to make the skin tones look fake. Needs a little more masking. I think that softened it just a hair, and I think that's good. Lens corrections, don't need any. There's really no visible edges that are a problem. You know, I wouldn't want to hit a lot of vignetting or anything. I mean, there's a tiny little bit of vignetting in the corners, but nothing noticeable that I'd want to add or remove. I mean, I guess I could add some if I really wanted in the effects panel here, but yeah, maybe a little. Maybe just a little. 8, that sounds good. You know me, it's just a little bit. Never like a lot. Yeah, that's just enough. I think that's just enough. Let's see. I think my saturation's good. I like my white balance. And I think that's it. All right, let's see what Jared did and argue it out.
And here we go.
And I knew you were going to go black and white.
Whatever, dude. I knew you were going to not do what I was going to do. How about that?
Sounds good.
Yeah, I went black and white originally when I first processed this. A cold November morning. I didn't like the color. I wish there were, I like what you did with it. To me, on this screen, it looks a little too red, but that could be the nature of the file. I just wish there were more leaves on the trees. If this was a few weeks before, then the color would have popped even more. But why'd you stay color?
I didn't think their separation was good enough in black and white. I like how they really pop off the screen and they separate from the background while in color.
Sure.
So that was kind of my thought.
I can't argue with that. I like the way that the color looks, the way that the train looks, the leaves, and the blinking of the lights in the background.
It was a difficult file to get a good white balance.
Yeah, it was overcast. It was really, really, really overcast. I like the color. You have more detail here in the smoke than I have detail in the smoke.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And then I've got less detail, it looks like, in the smoke. I mean, I processed more for the people, and you probably did more for the overall image.
Yeah, I mean, my sharpening was for the people, most definitely. But I definitely had in mind the leaves and the red walkway here, sure. And the good separation and what tones were there.
I mean, I think they both can work depending on the situation that they would end up being used in. And when it comes to wedding type photos and the engagements, you never know what somebody's going to want. You never know what they're going to like. They could like the black and white, or they could like the color. I think either way, you probably don't lose.
No, you can't go wrong on this particular image. It really works either way, but
except if you go HDR.
Yeah, there you go. But as always, it really comes down to personal preference.
Yeah, again, personal preference, but we're making this RAW file available from a D3, so you guys get the opportunity to play with a file from that camera, and that should be a little bit fun to see what you can do with that file.
Is that the first D3?
Yeah.
File that we put up?
I think it's the first D3. I know we put up a D700 from somebody, but I don't think that anybody submitted a D3 file to us yet.
Yeah, same thing.
Maybe Adam will when we ask him for a photo.
Yes. Is he on a 3S or a 3?
Oh, yeah. He's on a 3S.
Even better.
Yeah, well, we'll put up a 3S file at some point. Why not?
Absolutely.
We'll find something good to put up there. Anything you hate about mine this week?
I don't know. Zoom in. Let's see it.
I mean, that's a nice contrast.
I hate that it's perfectly sharp. That's what I hate.
Oh, don't even go there. You hate that it's perfectly sharp. We spend all this money on expensive glass.
Kidding.
What?
Total joke.
Oh, you better be joking. Because, those are people, they want to use, like, I put Vaseline on a filter and then put saran wrap on it and then put it on my 200 f2 and look how artsy it is. Yay, artsy. It's blurry. No.
What about mine? Any comments on mine?
That's solid. She's looking a little red. I would have pulled out a little bit of red. At least over here.
She looked red the whole time anyway.
What?
She looked red anyway.
Actually, you know what it is? It's a combination of things, and probably why I went black and white initially is when it's cold outside, you get the rosy cheeks, the rosy nose thing going on, plus the reflection off of the walkway here is probably bouncing back into the face, throwing some red up in there.
Yeah, I would agree. Plus, the overcast sky makes you add a lot of red. So, like I said, it was definitely a difficult one to white balance, and the main place that I was looking were those skin tones, but I think it's okay.
Yeah, I think overall you can't go wrong with both. What do you guys think? Color, black and white, or it's a kind of a toss-up, personal preference? And, you know, let's see what you guys can do with it. So this is the first time you get to play with a D3 file, and I would love to see what you guys do, so be sure to put that into the forum. And like I reiterated in my video, when you are submitting a RAW file to froknowsphoto@gmail.com, by doing so, you are allowing us, or giving us, the ability to let other people download the RAW file and edit it for educational purposes only. There's only so much we can do if somebody's going to use it for something else. We can only play on the honor system. Part of the reason why I'm throwing up one of these files, it's my file, and I would hope that everybody would, you know, adhere to the copyright, and it's for educational purposes only. I don't think you'd want a picture of these guys running around anyway. So, you know, Greg, anything you want to add, not to that, but just in general?
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't notice the vignette that I added.
Yeah, I saw it in your video. I wouldn't have touched it. And I think this was from the 70 to 200 version 1.
Yeah, it's just a matter of that tiny little bit. You don't need much.
Yeah, it looks good. I like the way that the color turned out here. It's a very thick file for you.
I would agree.
It has more contrast than you normally do. I'm gonna have to go back and look at your video and watch how you did that to see if I could learn something maybe.
I actually started off by using the what the heck's it called? All of a sudden I forget the name of it. The camera calibration panel.
Yeah.
And it was just too thick. It had pushed the blacks off to the side too much, and I lost too much detail in the front of the train.
Yeah.
And so I ended up backing off and starting over, and just played with brightness and a little bit in the tone curve. It wasn't a whole lot, but
well, it's thick. It has a lot of contrast.
Yeah, it was good. It's a good file.
And I like the color. I like the feel of that, and I like, you know, it's better than when you normally go flatter. So that's why I'm drawn towards your color one this week. It's nice and boomy.
Thanks for the compliment, buddy.
It's sort of a backhanded compliment, but it's still a compliment.
I know it is.
It's still a compliment. I'm drawn to it. I like it. So that's what I got. You got anything else?
That's it.
All right. So next week, who knows what next week brings? We'll see. Jared Poland, froknowsphoto.com. See ya.